Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome to the Twin Topics podcast with me, Joey Odell, and
me, Nate Arnema.
Yeah, we're coming live here from my little home studio here in the big PR Waters here in Perth, Western Australia. And for episode 1 of our first ever podcast, and me and Nate coming on to have a little bit of a chat. And with it being Twin Topics, we have a little bit of a spin that we're trying to achieve. We'll go through that. First, I'll let Nate introduce himself and
Sure.
Yeah, give you guys a little bit of an insight into where this is going.
Oh, sure. Okay. So hi, my name is Nate Arnema. I like long walks on the beach, spaghetti and crochet. So I'm a digital and online expert and I deal with digital assets, have done for the last 5 years, and mainly talking about anything to do with the digital and online space, social media, websites, security, funnels, campaigns, the whole lot. Anything to do with your business or your personal brand, basically, is what we work on. And so what we thought would be a good idea is, I don't know what, we both have our own sort of fields and authority and stuff. And we thought, well, hang on, why don't we try and...
Yeah, I guess like it's probably best to give an insight into where it came. Like,
yeah.
At the end of the day, like all great things come from small conversations.
Yeah.
And I guess this came from just meeting up for a coffee, which turned into a 3 or 4 hour chat.
So, as always.
Yeah. The coffee was kind of cold by the end of it.
Yeah.
But no, we got a lot done. We got a lot achieved for both ourselves. But I guess it came to realize that you can do 2 things that seem completely separate, but are so inseparably linked in terms of not the general specific topic of conversation, but the overarching meaning and the goal and the purpose of what you're trying to do, right?
Yeah.
And I guess what came from our conversation, that was only 2 days ago.
Yeah, and by the way, it's not like we just had one conversation. Yeah, like we catch up weekly. Like we're actually homeboys.
This is our second date.
Yes, so
yes. No, yeah, we catch up a lot, but we had a conversation, and like Nate said, his expertise in the digital marketing space, and where I come from is for a mental health, fitness, coaching background. The two may seem quite different, but the purpose that we have and the ideas that we had in this conversation, we realized that the purpose and the drive behind what we're doing is very much aligned, right?
Yeah, like surprisingly, they interlock like so well. It's incredible. When we were talking about, I was mentioning stuff about the digital and online world, and Joey's like, oh my God, like I can totally see how that applies into my field there with mental health and suicide and violence and depression and drugs and stuff. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I can see that connection beautifully there as well. Like they were just so succinct. They joined so beautifully. We're like, okay, we actually need to look at this more seriously, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite uncanny how things can merge together like that. And the idea of the whole Twin Topics is not just to talk about this purpose that we have, but how 2 differing ideas can come together to create a common unity.
Yeah, and I love that. That's his phrasing. I love that, by the way. I absolutely love that. When you start hearing him talk, if you haven't heard him talk yet, or if you have heard him talk and stuff, you've heard that. I absolutely love that. It's his catchphrase. It's totally cool. So basically what we do is so I pick a topic that I think is prevalent and relevant to my field and my industry and what I think is something worth talking about. And you pick a topic that's prevalent and relevant and that you think is worth talking about. And then basically we catch up and talk about both those topics and see where the connect is, and see if there is a connect, 2, where that connect is, 3, what our thoughts are on it, and then obviously get interaction from you guys as well to see what you guys think about it. And these are going to be trending topics, things that are actually prevalent. So it's basically just an insight on what we see, what we think, what we believe is happening, and maybe even solutions and ideas. Basically just whatever. We're just having a conversation. We want you guys to be part of it. So
yeah, exactly. Like this is the thing, is like, when we speak about community, like the common unity between it is opening a conversation that we can all get involved in.
Exactly.
Not just something that, is, oh, I can talk about it because I'm an expert in my field and Nate is an expert in his field. But no, it's two blokes talking that anyone can get involved in and anyone can join in with. And it's up for, as many comments, as many side conversations and topics as we can create from it on the offside as well, that we can possibly talk about later on.
Absolutely. I mean, the whole goal here, I think, for me, I don't know about you, but for me personally, the whole goal here is just creating that sort of surrounding, that space, that environment that will allow people to actually voice what they've got to say and what they want to say and what they think in a safe place, so that we can all come to a common understanding. And once we get that common understanding, that common unity, booyah, that common unity then allows us to grow as individuals and also grow as a group and a society. And this is where, like me, with my big thing is that there kind of brings that unified message, that unified front. And that's a big thing for me, is that unified front.
Yeah, so, 100% agree. And I wish I could coin that little common unity thing, but it was actually something that was given to me on my bachelor party.
Really?
In a teepee, absolutely high off our minds.
I want to hear this. I want to hear it.
So yeah,
come on, paint the picture.
So it's as a non-stripper and cocaine style bachelor party. Mine was very different. At the time,
wait, are you saying yours was a stripper and cocaine?
No, wasn't strippers and cocaine. There was, I think I was about maybe 6 or 7 months sober from alcohol at the time. So booze wasn't something that I wanted in my my bachelor party. And my best man Jay said to me, he's like, "Oh, what do you fancy doing then for your bachelor party?" He actually said to me, if this was happening a year ago, I would have said strippers and cocaine, no problem, let's set it up. But knowing that I was on this journey, he said, like, "What do you want to do?" So I said, I want to go on a journey. And he's like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "You know what I mean."
A journey.
Yeah. So comes up.
Did he know what you meant?
Oh, he 100% knew what I meant.
Because I have no idea. I'd be like, all right, okay.
So this is the synchronicity
that
we had.
This is that unified front there.
Yeah. So he turns out the day, and we go into John Forest, around that area in I think it's Gidgeganup, the area is called.
Okay.
And we go and spend the night in a teepee and get absolutely tuned up with something called the San Pedro cactus.
Oh, I love the San Pedro. Yes, mescaline.
Yeah. So for those that don't know what San Pedro is, you may have heard of ayahuasca.
Yes.
Ayahuasca is the feminine, where San Pedro is the masculine. So it was a group of guys. I think there was about 12 of us, including all the facilitators.
Oh, so you went on a proper journey.
Oh, we went on a journey.
Oh.
And without going into too much detail, we were told obviously got to keep it quite sacred. I've shared a lot about my experience before, but for the rest of the guys, that's their sacred experience.
Absolutely.
But I remember coming towards the end. We were eating some fruits and having some kangaroo that was cooked on the fire in front of us. It was unbelievable.
Oh, so yummy.
The facilitator, Eli, says to us, I can't remember anything else about what he said, but he just used the words about, this is what we're trying to achieve here, because true community is made from the common unity of you brothers. And I just was like, I still coming down. I'm like, oh, wow.
That's your jam. Wow.
And I was like, that was just possibly one of the most simple things I've ever heard.
So profound.
So profound.
Wow.
Because all you're doing is literally sticking a hyphen in the middle of the word community.
Yeah, but it gives so much depth.
Yeah.
It's great. That's cool. That's
Yeah.
So okay, you may not have coined it, but I'm pretty sure he'll be okay with you utilizing it.
I'm pretty sure it'll be okay.
I mean,
because the
that's
message
part of your
is there.
journey. That's your journey right there.
Yeah, the message is there.
Well, the journey led you to that message. So yeah, go for it. Run with it.
Yeah.
What do you guys think? I mean, is he okay with that? I'm okay with it. So yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. So it's that was an experience and a half.
Oh yeah.
And I guess that led me on a massive twist in this journey coming into this space. And I think it was only maybe 5 or 4 months later, then I met you
Wow.
at the Speakers Tribe event.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoa. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
There you go.
There you go. The journey didn't stop.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Awesome. Well, that's pretty cool. That's freaking awesome.
Mm.
That's I had no idea about that backstory.
Yeah, there you
no
go,
idea
man.
about the backstory. That's really cool. Awesome. All right. So okay, all right. So I suppose we better move things on a little bit, otherwise
Yeah.
we're just dribbling. Okay, so as we said, it's twin topics. So topic each, and then we're going to see how we connect. Now, the first one that we did, we kind of discussed these topics together first.
Yeah.
And we thought, well, the best one would probably be kind of the topic that's dear to me with my industry and the topic that's dear with you with your industry. And because we already can see the correlation and the connections.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So why don't we share the topics?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Cool. All right. Would you like to? It's your office. You go first.
Yeah,
It's your
okay.
studio.
So in a few months, less than a month's time, I'm going to be stepping on stage for the very first time to give a talk about. I've still not nailed on with the name yet.
The title. It'll come.
The title will come, but it's basically what it is at the moment is about finding a relationship with the child within, and talking about the relationship that we as adults of our generation struggle to be able to link the understanding of mental health occurrences or mental health issues of the generations below us or the current generations that are going through school and coming into this world, because we're still dealing a lot with what we were struggling as with kids. And the message that's in there is the education just in general for any youth growing up was missing when it comes down to emotions.
So we see no emotional training whatsoever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And this is a problem.
Yeah.
Obviously my talk goes a little bit more in depth. I share a little bit of my story as well. But I don't think that's as far as I'm going to go, because I kind of want to keep that message for the actual talk.
I've heard this. Like I've been with him as we've been massaging through this talk. It's epic. Seriously, as he's telling it, like half the time I've got tears running down my eyes. I'm like, I can so relate. And yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be epic. Yeah. So it's fun. It's kind of like finding that child within, that emotional. It's not really EQ. It's just it's emotional awareness, really, isn't it? Sort of thing. Yeah. Learning to be emotionally aware and then how to deal with that sort of thing, and the prevention of suicide and mental health and violence and self-abuse and depression and stuff. It's kind of like that whole, okay, cool. Yeah. Very cool. I mean, very cool.
At the end of the day, it all links about, coming from within to be able to take ownership of you.
Yeah.
Then to be able to try and heal from within to the outside, rather than trying to heal the outside first and then hoping that you got some time to figure out your stuff.
Absolutely. That's huge. That's huge. One thing I learned with my own spiritual journey a couple of years ago was that if anything, you start within. Always start within. And if your external is not what you want it to be, it's because your internal is not what it should be. And you're the only one that has the control over your internal, because that effectively changes the external.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's crazy. So, which is awesome. And I can't wait to hear the talk. It's going to be epic. It's cool. I've heard it. I can't wait for you guys to hear it. I can't wait to see it on stage.
Yeah, I think there's a little rumor going around that's going to be broadcast on social media.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Okay. So it's not a rumor.
Yes, it's happening.
So there you go. Yeah, there's your invitation.
Stay tuned. Keep your ears to the virtual ground.
Yeah.
So so my topic is so my space here is all about the digital and online world, digital assets and building businesses, funnels and campaigns and all this sort of stuff. For the last year, I have been basically consistently put on different radio stations, to talk about social media and the effects that social media have on us, on the world, on basically everything, right? So that's been the big deal. So is the effects that the social media world has, and the corporations itself, so without giving away too much, because obviously I've got some talks and stuff that I want to do as well. But the addictive part, the addiction, the digital addiction that comes from social media platforms and the way that the corporations have built them and everything, and more importantly, the effects from these addictions, from these corporations, from what actually we deem to be normal life, which actually isn't normal life. So the bad sides to it, the twists, the arising of violence, the suicides, the alienation, the depression, and all of the stuff that occurs from what we deem to be normal life online. So, and as you can see, just from us talking about these two, there's that kind of like, there's that segue, that connection that goes in. So
you got directly the first connection that I can really see is obviously as parents and older adults that are responsible for young children or are thinking about having young children. This is, we come from a generation where, I mean, when I was coming up, there was no social media.
Yeah, same.
It was all playing outside, and social media was born when I guess I was around my late teens, early to late teens, I think.
Yeah.
And it wasn't really a thing until, Facebook really
What was
exploded.
the first one you remember?
Oh man, I was on MSN Messenger.
MSN. Me too.
MSN Messenger, and then I was on some other thing.
Do you remember dial-up?
No.
You don't know.
Oh, the dial-up. Yeah. Oh God, yeah. Oh, now I know what you're talking about. Yeah. AOL Online.
AOL.
America Online.
Yes. Yeah. AOL Online.
That was it. It literally took you about 12 minutes just to get online.
Oh God, I know.
Where it's, look at the difference of today, where it's
if it's 12 seconds, they're zooming out. It's too slow.
Yeah, it's
from 12 minutes to 12 seconds, and even 12 seconds is too slow.
It's how often now do you go and try and play something on Spotify?
Yeah.
And if it cuts out even for a second, it's frustrating.
Like, nah. Yeah, you bail. You're like, I'm out. Yeah.
Whereas as a young teenage boy trying to download a half-naked picture of some celebrity that I fancied on online, you're literally waiting step by step, just waiting, and then all of a sudden, Mum would pick up the phone in the other room, and the whole thing cut out.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, or sometimes she'd come in and check whether you're online first, and you're like, wait.
That's not what you think.
Oh God, I remember those days. That was fantastic. Oh.
Yeah, but like, man, imagine if that happened now.
Oh, geez, no.
That'd be an uproar.
Oh, absolutely. It'd be mayhem. Yeah. Absolute mayhem. But yeah, you're right. So we've grown up, like I mean, you're the same age as me. We're both 34.
Yeah, 34. Yeah.
Yeah, 34, and we're both January babies too.
Yeah.
So, like
exactly.
it's a real close 34.
Yeah.
So we're exennials, really. Like exennial is kind of like that in between the millennial and the generation beforehand, the baby boomers.
Yeah.
We're kind of like that little cuspy part because we grew up prior to anything internet related and mobile related. We saw the birth of it, and now we're also heavily into it. So we're kind of like the grandfather millennials.
Yeah.
Like, gather around, kiddies, gather around the Snapchat. Let me tell you about Bebo.
Yeah. Well, man, I remember when I first signed up to Facebook, and that was, I think I spent most of my time rating with women. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. It was like a hot or not something.
But that's basically how Facebook was created. In the first place.
That's right. Yeah.
I mean, those who don't really understand fully what Facebook was initially, go and have a look at the Zuckerberg film that was created. There was a Social Network.
Yeah, that's it.
It's a little bit over dramatized, but in essence, that's kind of how it was birthed. They wanted to do a hot or not for universities, and it just exploded.
Yeah.
But that was not the first one, though.
No,
MSN was before that, and we had rooms, we had chat rooms in MSN before that.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, which was kind of crazy.
Then there was MySpace, which was like it was almost like the first version of Facebook.
That was the beta testing for it, wasn't it?
Yeah, was it Tom?
Did you have
Tom?
Yeah, Tom. Everyone had a friend Tom. I mean, so you had a MySpace account.
Yeah.
Did you know how to use it properly or anything, or?
Back then it was the only thing I really remember about it is you could, whenever somebody went on your page, you could link a song to
Yeah.
it. So it's like your favorite song would come
Yeah,
up.
it would
and
come
it
up.
was-
Yeah. I
You started
remember
your
that.
profile pictures and your videos and stuff, and
Yeah.
then you could chat as much crap as you wanted on there.
Yeah.
But it wasn't like what Facebook is today.
No,
It
not
was
even close.
it was more like a really small web page for you, like a blogging
Yeah.
page, I guess.
It's like a little virtual space for you, hence the MySpace thing. The MySpace.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
No,
I do
no,
that
no.
with all the social media platforms, like MySpace, Facebook, your Twitter.
It's kind of what it is,
No,
isn't it?
yeah,
Really?
it is that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was kind of like a little space that allowed you to, I don't know, control that environment for yourself. Really, I know some people really got to be into it. I didn't really. I mean, I had MySpace and I did use it, but I wasn't like an expert in it.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, I was still more concerned about going out and chasing girls and surfing and basketball and, you know, eating food and,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like I was still, because I grew up without it. So I was used to not having it. So for me, it wasn't a massive deal.
Yeah, I think from what I remember, I think it was like when it was too dark to do stuff outside kind of thing.
Then you would move inside and that's where you'd go to. Yeah, absolutely.
It was. It's not like it was now.
No, where it's like you got to like literally like use a cattle prod to get the kids out. Yeah, and that's one of the problems.
I think it's the main problem with the youth side of things. I mean, you know, as a new parent now, it's, you know, I've seen and grown up with Facebook and seen it evolve to what it is now. Although I took a massive break from it for about 7 years while I was away working on cruise ships. But I think that I really like what Joe Rogan said about it is, you know, when it comes down to kids, it's like I was bullied as a kid. I think most kids were either bullied or were a bully or had possibly both. I think maybe I had both.
Yeah,
I had both experiences.
Put it past me either. I've had that too. Yeah.
And before social media, it's like at least the kids got a break. This is what Joe Rogan was saying. It's at least, you know, at least you had that point where you could go home and
after school it was done
and the bullying was over. And then at the weekend it was like a whole weekend without being bullied.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's 24/7.
And it's even worse out of school.
Yeah, because people, as kids especially, really don't care.
Yeah.
What they say.
No, they don't. And okay, so here's a question for you then. This is interesting. This is very interesting. Here's a question for you. Because you've got a little one now, right? How do you feel about social media or Facebook, for example, with the little one now? Like, is she going to have a Facebook account?
Look, man, like my parenting, the way I'm thinking of it is like, I obviously I don't want to try and control what my daughter does. She's way too young right now to even know what Facebook is. Yeah. She's only just turned 1. Yeah.
At what age do you think? It's a good question.
I mean,
it's a question that a lot of people ask, I think.
If I'm looking at, you know, if I had a child and I had to choose the age of the child of what I'd let them go to Facebook right now is a very different question to how old do you think I would let my daughter be before I let her have a Facebook account?
Why don't we answer them both? Now, hang on. Let's paint a proper picture here, because I'm pretty sure that this is a topic or a question that gets asked quite a lot, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Especially for new parents. I mean, my wife and I were trying for IVF. We're going to be having a baby, so this is a big, you know, talking conversation point for myself and my wife.
Yeah.
So, all right. So the question 1 is then, okay, will you let them have a Facebook account, and what age, and what are you going to set parameters and stuff? Well, bearing in mind, now before we continue, bearing in mind, do you know the privacy policy terms and conditions of Facebook?
To a certain extent, yeah, but pretty much anything you put on Facebook is the property of Facebook.
That's correct. And you lose basic human rights, a couple of basic human rights. For example, freedom of speech is no longer possible on social media, on Facebook specifically. And it makes sense. And people go, no, but we do have freedom. Well, no, you don't, because you can't do hate speech. So you know what I mean? For a perfect example, there's certain things you cannot say on those social media platforms because it will cause a rebuttal. You will get banned, you will get locked out, you will get reported, and so on. So freedom of speech is no longer an issue. Privacy's gone as well. You don't have privacy. Anything that goes on social media, the world can see, right? Also, you can't get rid of it.
Yeah.
Once it's on social media, it doesn't matter if you delete it from your Facebook account, we can still find it.
Yeah.
So once it's on, it's on.
Yeah.
So those three alone, just those three main points. What are your thoughts about your little one with Facebook and when and how and
Look, it's scary. Like if I was to pick an age, like right now,
yeah,
to let my daughter, like if I guess the best way is like if I could pick an age that my daughter was at right now to let her go on social media, I would probably be looking to 18.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, my first thought was like 21. Like,
yeah, it's like.
I know what you mean.
Yeah,
you want to protect. You just want to protect. You want to help. You don't. Yeah, I totally get you. But in a realistic world, that's not going to happen, is it? I mean, because their friends are all going to be on Facebook at what age? What you reckon?
Well, it's the thing is you can't even control access to things like Facebook. So it's. And like I look at my friends who've got kids that are going to school and things like that now, and they have to have a MacBook just to go to school.
Yeah, now so that's a big thing.
How can you control them not going onto Facebook?
Absolutely, you can't, because all it takes is one of their buddies who's got Facebook to go, "Oh, I'll sign you up," and then bang, they've now got Facebook.
Exactly.
And us as parents, or you as parent, we don't know. There's absolutely. I mean, okay, so and then comes the mobile devices.
Yeah.
So at what age do you think is a good idea to give a kid a mobile? I mean, because once again, you've gone from a MacBook, which is kind of big, a little bit chunky, you can kind of know, you know what I mean, to something that's handheld that can fit in your pocket. Like half the time you wouldn't even know your kid has the phone on them. Like that's scary.
Yeah, you're right.
That's scary.
It is.
See, for me, I'm thinking, look, I'm looking at this realistically, and I'm like, okay, because I have friends and I've got family members that have children and stuff, and their kids are different ages, and the different ages they've got different social media platforms because they're different training. Like for example, one of my close friends has 3 kids, and the 3 kids is 6, 4, and 2. And the 6 and the 4-year-old, they have access to TikTok. They've got access to straight YouTube, not just kids YouTube. They've also got access to Facebook. You know what I mean? And this is a 4 and a 6-year-old. You know, and it's not like, oh, they don't know what they're doing. They know precisely what they're doing. They know exactly how to operate TikTok. They know exactly how to operate YouTube. They know exactly how to find things on Facebook and Instagram. This is 4 and 6. For me, I'm like, that's way too young.
Yeah, that's scary. Like realistically, I think high school would, you're looking.
I would say that too.
You're looking at the first step inside adulthood in terms of, well, I mean, I know things are very different now, and I didn't grow up over here in Australia, so I'm not really sure about how everything works at that age. But I look at the fact that it was like, when I went to high school was the first time I got the bus to school by myself.
Same.
Yeah. So
it's like we're big boys now.
Yeah, it's like responsibility for yourself. So I think, okay, well, if you're gonna let somebody go on the bus by themselves, then I think probably as a parent that wants the best for the kids, still, no, I'd rather you weren't on Facebook.
Yeah.
But it's like, look, I'm trusting you. But this is where we go back into what I'm trying to talk about in my talk is the education you build up around what Facebook does. Like you talk about.
Now, let's be honest as well. Facebook's like old school. That's like our thing. These kids, Snapchat, TikTok, what else? Instagram. Like they're the biggies, and they're way worse than Facebook.
Yeah,
they're way worse.
Yeah,
anyway,
you're right. No, you're
forgive me.
You're right. No, it's all relevant. I mean, it's. Look, you see all these problems that come from social media, like the addictive properties of what it is. And I don't want to go too deep into the science behind it all, but you get a like on Facebook, it does something in your body, or
dopamine release, endorphins get released. Yeah, absolutely.
And
like it's that reaction, it's the gambler psychology.
Yeah, it creates a positive feeling.
That's right.
In the same way as having a beer or having taken drugs
Yeah,
or
absolutely.
gambling.
Yeah, it's that instant gratification
Yeah.
from pressing that button. It's a mix between gambler psychology and Pavlovian theory.
Yeah.
Yeah. So but by the way, there's those of you out there, Pavlov's dog, he would ring a bell and feed the dog, and then eventually he trained the dog so well that when he'd ring the bell, the dog thought he was going to get food. And eventually he would just ring the bell without the food and the dog would salivate. So trained that quickly to be able to have a physical reaction based off an audible sound from some training. So this is the same thing. That's Pavlovian theory, and the gambler's theory is the click, 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 get the reward.
That's what happens with my dog when I open the peanut butter jar.
Exactly. Yeah, they start salivating.
Yeah.
I know what that is.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, my dogs do exactly. My dogs are really well trained as well. As soon as I bring out like the mincer, because my girl, she got acute pancreatitis a couple of years ago, so she can't actually have like any fat or anything. It's got to be like really pure meat. So we boil chicken breasts and we boil rice, and then we've got like carrots and broccoli and cauliflower that they have every night. We just mince it all together, sort of thing. So as soon as that mincer comes out, like she's instantaneous. She knows. She goes and sits down right next to her bowl in the kitchen, just waiting. Like she knows.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And look, that's exactly what's happening to you on social media, then you can see the insane control that it has. But like going deeper into things is that hit of dopamine, you tend to look for it more often, the same as a drug addict and an alcoholic looks for more drugs and more alcohol. So kids, I guess, and adults too, use this as a way to make themselves feel better.
Absolutely.
So what I believe is needed is for me as a responsible parent to bring my daughter up with ways to manage her emotional health and her emotional well-being without the need to look for that like. To get a like is to get a like, but if she needs to sort out something stressful or something that's affecting her mental health, she's got these other tools or these other things that she can do and go to other than social media.
I love that. I absolutely 100% love that. Yes. I did a bit of a talk a while ago to a couple of my students, and it was basically understanding, and I'm not the creator of this. I wish I was, but I'm not. Paul Scanlon actually was the one that told me about this a while ago. One of my old mentors. He was a fantastic man. And basically essential self versus social self. And so just quick overview, really short profile. Essential self is what makes us us. It's essential. It's essentially us, right? What we know right from wrong, what we believe to be good, what the little hobbies, the characters, the gifts, the traits, the weaknesses, everything that makes us us. Yeah, that's essential self. And we're born with essential self. And essential self is key and prevalent in us growing until the age of understanding. Once we get to the age of understanding, that's generally when schooling kicks in. So then the schooling part comes in. Now we're dealing with social environments. And this is now where the birth of social self comes in. How do us as individuals act in a social environment that is deemed to be socially acceptable? So then all of a sudden we know, all right, don't be the pissy kid in the corner that constantly pees his pants. Don't be the little whingy crying person that does this, because that's not socially acceptable. So social self starts to grow. But unfortunately, social self becomes so prevalent because you've got the kindergarten, you've got primary school, then you've got high school, then you've got college, then you've got work. By the time you get to the workforce, you've kind of lost essential self. And you're totally immersed in social self. So I love what you're saying, because what you're trying to do is saying, hey, why not teach and ground our children to be completely aware of essential self and not lose essential self in the first place?
Exactly.
So then when they do get in social environments and they do have to deal with social self, they're not operating from social self, they're operating from essential self.
Exactly.
And I love that.
And this is where the trust comes in. And, this is where you can look at the politics of it. As soon as you try and take something away and say no as a parent, your child, because of the influences around them, are going to want, well, why am I not allowed on Facebook and TikTok and this, but Jimmy or Jeff or...
my friends are on it and they've been on it for months. They've all got phones. They all have the...
So you're creating a war with your own child. Whereas...
What was it that you said about war earlier? Sorry, this was off camera. So what was it you said about war?
War is like... it's the... It's Eckhart Tolle that I got this from. And he talks about war being an unwinnable conquest. So if you're at war with something, you can't remove the human aspect from it. So you're always going to be there. You will never be able to actually win a war because if you like, he mentions about like the war on drugs. To have a war, you need an opposition, a human opposition. So if you've got a war on drugs, the more you fuel the war, the more you're going to create an opposition. And then there's going to be a constant battle back and forth. So you're never going to be able to win the war until you release the hold that you have on the actual thing that you're supposedly at war against. And you start to work with the opposition as opposed to fighting them.
Finding common ground to work around it rather than trying to just destroy it.
Yeah, exactly, right. And then this to bring this back to the kids, is like, before you get to that stage where you have to make a choice of, are you old enough to go on Facebook, to be able to educate somebody before they become the opposition. So give them the tools they need to be able to go, okay, look, I trust you to make good decisions. I believe you're old enough to make good decisions. But at least as a parent, I've tried my very best to teach you as much as I can for when you're in a bad space, you're not using social media to solve an emotional problem.
You're not relying on external tools to help you. You're relying on the internal tools that were given to you.
And then, you know what, if that happens and they do start using social media, you can go, look, I've noticed that this, remember when I was a kid, when you were a child, we taught you this to be able to manage your emotions. Let's try doing that together. So you're not fighting with them. You're inviting them in as part of your team to go, look, let's do this together. Because it's a team thing to try and help the mental health, rather than going, no, you can't be on Facebook. It's terrible for you. Look what it's doing to you. It's making you angry and miserable. I'm going to ban you from Facebook.
Oh, and see that is probably one of the biggest mistakes that parents can do.
There's your war.
Yeah, absolutely. So actually, this just triggered something really quickly. There's a reason why kids go absolute bolly when you remove their phones and when you take off their iPads or their social media, when you remove them from that stuff. There is a reason for it. I saw a study, and they've been doing the study for I think it's like a better part of 20 years. Right. And the study basically comes down to the correlation between social media and the chemicals that are released from using your digital devices, and they focused on social media, but it applies for anything because we're dealing with lighting. So it's lights that's flashing your eyes, like the bright white light represents daylight, which is 5600 Kelvin, which then triggers cortisol, which keeps you awake, versus melatonin, which is then the 3200 Kelvin, you know what I mean? So there's a whole bunch of stuff, but that's another talk. Anyway, they did a study, and they checked, and they found out that 20 minutes on social media, 20 minutes, only 20 minutes, right, on social media for a child, this is up to the age of 15, the chemicals that are released is exactly the same as a line of cocaine.
Yeah, wow.
For an adult, it's 1 hour. 1 hour is the same as a line of cocaine. The same chemicals are released throughout the body. So now think about this, right? Your kid, you give the kid the phone, the kid's on TikTok going crazy for an hour, right? So that's now 3 lines of cocaine they've had. Bang, 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 bang. 3 lines, right? And they're not listening to you, right? Hey, can you go and do the dishes? Can you go and wash up for dinner? Can you go and get ready? Go brush your teeth or something. And they're not listening because they're tuned in, just like an addict, a user. They're hooked in on their drug, right? And all of a sudden you get upset and you take the phone off them and go, that's it. No phone for you. You're not listening to me. That's it. I'm banning you. You've just taken the main drug away from the addict that doesn't know they're an addict and is not old enough to be a responsible addict in any way, but addicts aren't responsible in the first place, but a functioning addict. This is a child that is now 100% addicted, that's getting the same chemical hit as cocaine, a line of cocaine every 20 minutes, and you've just removed it from them, and you wonder why they have a breakdown.
Yeah.
That's crazy, right?
You look at the patterns that exist out there for drug addicts. I mean, if a drug addict,
they're indistinguishable.
If a drug addict can't get drugs, they'll go and break into your house to steal something to sell so they can get money buy drugs.
They have a full-on tantrum. They have a breakdown.
I guess that's what kids are doing.
They are.
Not in the same sense, but in a a sort of
Well, I mean, think about
metaphorical
it. How many
sense.
times have you said, right, that's it, I'm taking your phone off to the kid, right? For example, you've seen this. I'm not saying you've done
Yeah,
this,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I've seen this firsthand. That's it, taking it off yourself. They take it off, complete breakdown, cries, tears, throwing stuff, tantrums, sitting on the floor, going absolutely crazy. Right, phone goes away. 5 minutes later, the kid's got the phone again, and the mum's or the dad's like, "Where'd you get that?" They've gone and taken the device that was locked up or put away or banned. They've effectively broken in to get the drug.
I mean, that's for anyone, I guess, that's wants to know more about this sort of stuff. There's is it Social Dilemma?
Social Dilemma.
Yeah.
Yeah, very, very powerful movie.
Yeah, it's a documentary, I think, on
Netflix. Yeah.
Netflix. That's it.
Netflix,
Yeah. And they depict this in actual. They actually play it out in a scenario.
Do.
Yeah.
The buzz, the hit.
Yeah.
It's crazy how they put that through, and it's so accurate.
Mm.
Just a quick question, guys. Have you seen kids do this? Have you seen parents who've taken kids away, or are you a parent and you've taken something away from, social media? You've taken a phone or a device away from them, and they've had that complete breakdown. It's a question. Just curious, because I've seen a lot of it with my friends and family members who have children. I just want to know if that's common or if it's just something that's happening around me.
Maybe.
Yeah. But and what do you think about it? I mean, did you guys know that 20 minutes for a child is the same as a line of cocaine? I mean, that's scary. It's an hour for an adult, by the way. An hour.
I mean, even just myself, like, I knew the link between the addictive properties between cocaine and between social media. The way I've described in the past to about not necessarily social media, but phones just in general, is that the type of light that gets emitted from a phone is not too dissimilar from the first light of day.
That's right.
So not your sunrise, but that first sun that comes after the sunrise emits like a big flash of blue light.
Yes.
And what that is as a part of nature is to wake up all the animals, to tell them to get up.
It's the trigger for cortisol to be released into the body that says you're awake now.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
and that's being beamed at you consistently. The moment you unlock your phone, that's being hammered into your irises.
And if you're doing that right before you go to bed,
oh, you screwed. Yeah, you're not sleeping.
You're wondering why it takes you anxious 90 minutes to get to sleep. Is because your brain thinks, why am I trying to go to sleep when the sun's just risen up?
Exactly. Yes. 100%. Yes.
And that's the I guess the best and easiest metaphor without using too much science that I can come up with to be able to explain it. And that's even without the use of social media.
That's just the phone.
Yeah.
That's not even social media. Social media was a whole nother level. Like, I personally, one of the things that I actually call the social media things, all of social media platforms and stuff, the use of it, it's digital cocaine. It is 100% digital cocaine.
You're right.
It's a 21st century drug. It is. And there is no, from what I can see, there is no cure for it. There is no way to kind of stop using it unless you basically just remove yourself from all of those platforms. But then you're ostracized, and the way that they produce things, that way that algorithms work, the way that the social media platforms have been put together, the corporations put together, we're screwed. Like, I can't really see a world where we're not users. And I'm saying that word specifically, and there's a reason why it's called users. I mean, think about it. What's the other thing that we relate the word users to? Drug addicts.
Yeah. And we have a user profile.
Yeah, we have a user profile. That's next level, man. Like, it's digital cocaine. Like, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Digital cocaine. Now, the digital cocaine side of things, right? The addiction, the likes, the follows, the subscribes, right? The continuous bombardment of trying to get those endorphins and those dopamine hits and everything, right? That pure addiction side of things. I've noticed specifically since the rise of social media, and more so the capitalization of social media, when these corporations have gotten bigger and bigger and bigger and more of them have come out, suicide has just skyrocketed. Depression's gone through the roof. Violence has also not only become more acceptable, but also more demonstrable. You know, alienation is a big thing. Like how many stories or things do you find where it's like kids like, I mean, how about this? Okay, this is just crazy. I was watching some kids the other day that, because obviously I'll go and babysit their families and friends and stuff. To get them outside and away from their phone was like trying to draw blood from a stone.
Yeah, I can imagine.
They were just in their bubble. As soon as that iPad came out, that no one else existed. Completely isolated, completely alienated. And this is a child. Like was it Social Dilemma mentioned something? They turn around and say that the Generation Z, I believe it's Generation Z, is the first generation to be completely brought up on manipulation. And only manipulation. Like we're exennials.
Yeah.
We knew life before social media. We knew life before mobile devices, before mobile laptops or anything like that. Like we wanted to call someone. I would have to arrange with you that, say, Tuesday at 6 o'clock, I'm going to call you. And then we would go to the house phone at 6 o'clock. I would pull it off the wall, dial the numbers, and you would answer on the other side. Like that's how we arranged stuff. Like we knew life before this, right?
Yeah.
So
or there's the old cup on a string as a child.
How good was that? Yeah. Now you tell that to kids nowadays, they have no idea what you're talking about. They're like, why? I've got MSN.
Yeah.
So we know what life was like prior to manipulation. But Generation Z brought up on social media. And the algorithms and the way social media has been built, like it is all manipulation. They don't know any other life but being manipulated.
You see it in every single TV show, every single advert. You know, even the movies these days.
Yeah.
Manipulation.
Yeah.
I mean, this is something I just noticed. Maybe it's my nerdy eyes. I don't know. But if you go and watch a sitcom, for example, like not an old one, but a new one.
So not Seinfeld, but like, I don't know, How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah, How I Met Your Mother, like New Girl, something like that.
Yeah.
New Girl, something. Yeah. So you'll see, I'll bring in a bottle here. You'll see that if I'm drinking from a bottle, the bottle will be perfectly positioned as I'm drinking it. So you can read exactly the branding of the beer or the drink that's being drunk, because you don't know that you're seeing that.
No, you're subconsciously, it's subconsciously is reading. Consciously, it's just part of the blur. That's right. But someone's paid like $25,000 to have their brand show like that for 15 seconds on a feature film. Yeah.
And that's
manipulation.
It's everywhere.
100% manipulation. Yeah, absolutely.
Even driving, you know, billboards have been a thing for years.
Oh, it's huge, yeah.
But now, like even just going and driving through the CBD in Perth, there's massive, gigantic screens flickering as you're driving down the Narrows.
That's exactly right. And whoever gets the highest bid for that space gets to put their ad up.
Yeah.
And it works. Let's be honest. It works.
Yeah, it does.
It absolutely 100% works. Yeah, because you're just seeing it every day. It's there. It's crazy, isn't it? And that's just the starting point of the manipulation.
Yeah.
Like that's just the beginning. Like when it comes to phone devices, I mean, they absolutely thought 100% how it will look. You know, I'll unlock my phone so you can see all the things. See all the squares and then placed in this position, and the way it's put together, and the way that it scrolls back and forth, and the fact that you can click on it and create. They did serious, like years of testing with small control groups to determine what will be the best UI, which is user interface UI, that will allow the phone to get the most amount of attention out of you.
No, wow.
They I mean teams of engineers, teams of people who are specifically designed for social engineering, that their job is to go, how can I subconsciously control you to the point where I can increase your attention on what I want?
Yeah.
That's scary.
That's very scary.
And we don't even know it's happening. Like, did you guys know that that's how this, and the algorithms on Facebook and social media, all these social media platforms, right? The algorithms, they're even worse. They're even worse. They are so good at what they do, so unbelievably good, right? That the people that created these algorithms can't tell you what they're doing now.
Yeah.
They're just too fast. They created an algorithm, which is a whole bunch of mathematical equations to work out different variables, right? Basically, that's what it is, right? To basically go, let's read Joey. Let's come up with a virtual Joey. Now we've got the virtual Joey. Let's put this in front of him and see what he does, right? Okay, he did this, and then let's do again, and then they just gather all this bit of information, all this data about you to the point where they go, if I put something like this in, I know I'm going to get this response. Now I'm going to try and put more of this in and see how quickly, how fast, how much quicker I can make that response, and how much longer I can keep your attention on that. They don't care if it's good. They don't care if it's bad. They don't care if it's right. They don't care if it's wrong. For them, it's all about how much attention can I get from you. And they're so good at it that they have like these algorithms. It's artificial intelligence. That's exactly what it is. They think, oh no, we've got artificial intelligence coming. It's already here. It's been here for years.
Yeah.
This artificial intelligence is so good at reading you. It knows more about you than you do, and it can get you to react subconsciously within a millisecond. Within a millisecond, it shows you one thing. It already knows, if I show this image, you're going to be distracted for 4.25 seconds looking at that image, and it's going to trigger you to press the like button. And from that like button, I'm going to now line up this next image, which is going to keep you activated for 6 seconds. And from that there, you're going to click on it and watch the video. And you're going to watch that video for 13 seconds. It knows this.
Yeah.
That's scary. You have no control.
Yeah. I mean, the worst thing I've heard, and I'll say it's not even the worst thing I've heard. The most basic thing I've heard that seems the worst thing to me was within any social media platform that you were watching, doesn't matter whether you think it's good or bad or whether you think some are better than the others, it has one job. Yeah. And that one job is to keep you on that social media platform.
That's exactly right. That's 100%. Keep your attention.
Yeah.
That's it. And businesses, advertisers, marketers, the people, when we try and use it for business, right? What we're paying for is your attention. Like if social dilemma explains it beautifully. I have yet to find a way to explain it better. If you don't have a product, you are the product. And in our case, the product is our attention span. Now, businesses we're using Facebook because it's the biggest and it's the easiest one to talk to. It's our generation, right? So I'm a business and I want to put my ads on Facebook and I want to grow my ads on Facebook. What I'm actually doing, right, for purchasing impressions and likes and yada, 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 what I'm actually doing is competing against a whole bunch of other businesses for your attention. That's it. Whoever gets the highest bid gets your attention. That's it. So 4.6 cents for 3 seconds of your attention. Like that's kind of how it works down. And then what I do with those 3 seconds of attention is completely up to me, because that's what I'm paying for, is that space, that time frame. But ultimately, that's what I'm paying for. And you have no idea that it's coming. You have absolutely no idea. Like you're clueless. This is all subconscious shit. It's crazy. And we want to, and here's this is the part that like I'm like, oh my God. The majority of the people out there are openly letting their kids go rampant on these platforms. Do you know how scary that is?
It shows how this world is the way it is. Why are kids so glued? Because Instagram, TikTok, whoever are trying to keep your kids into this cocaine.
That's it.
They're literally trying to keep you in cocaine.
That's exactly it. They're trying to keep your nose down in the pile of cocaine. That's exactly what they're doing. That's it. Because they don't care whether it's good or bad, right or wrong, whether it's going to hurt you or help you. They don't care. It's the attention. It's the amount of time your nose is in that cocaine. That's all they care about. That's it. That's all they care about.
Well, I think it's a good time to ask a question.
Yeah.
Is like, you may think what we're saying might be full of shit. And we're very happy to hear from your opinion, and we'd love to discuss it further.
Yeah.
But if you're listening to this and you understand it and you agree with it, that this is going on and this is happening.
Mm.
How different now would you? We asked you a question at the start about what age would you let your kids on social media? What's your difference of thought now, if any?
That's right. Yeah. Like, do you have any control over this? That's that. Oh, yeah, absolutely. 100%. We want to know. We want to know what your thoughts are on this. I personally, 20 years from now, like I see a complete breakdown of society. I mean, a whole proper breakdown of society. We've lost all control, control. In 20 years, we've lost everything. And from what I can tell and what I can see, knowing, being in this field and understanding all this, well, there's nothing we can do.
Well, I think the worrying thing is when you say breakdown, I don't think chaos and fire and the world set alight. I just
hope not.
I think is like we won't have.
There won't be society.
There won't be this.
There will not be society. No,
because
complete alienation, complete isolation, complete loss of control of any financial for government and local and personal. You've lost it. Yeah. You've lost your basic human rights to be able to walk around. You've lost your basic human rights to talk. Like you're gone.
We're talking people in pods.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
What's Wall-E? The movie.
Oh yeah,
Wall-E. Yeah. How they're all big and fat and they're on this little thing and they're just and that's it. So I think I'm not saying we're all going to be big and fat. We might be. I don't know. But that type of isolation. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Holy moly. That's a very good question, by the way, Joe. Brilliant question. Knowing what you know now, and this is just two people having a conversation, and we didn't even touch really. I mean, we kind of did a little bit, but the connection between this and the mental health, like this is so powerful that it's controlling the mental health of people. Like that's why I'm like, this is worse than cocaine. This digital, I call it digital cocaine, but this digital addiction is by far the worst thing that's ever happened. The worst thing that could ever be created in a negative sense. There's positive, don't get me wrong. There's a crap ton of positive. But the negative to it is at the level where this digital cocaine is controlling the mental health of individuals and they don't even know it. And the worst part of it is the control. They don't care about good or bad, right or wrong. They care about attention span. That's the scary part. You can have someone being trolling you and just hate speech continuously at you, and then other people join and stuff. And simply because other people are joining in, the algorithm reads that as you're trending. So let's keep you in the spotlight and keep people hammering you because they don't care. They're just like, well, no, you're getting time. That's it. They don't know whether it's good or bad. They don't care. They're not programmed for good or bad.
Well, that's the thing. It's like going back to the user.
Yeah.
Is when you're on Facebook, you're pretty much your own digital advertising agency.
Yeah.
And whenever you post a picture, you're basically like somebody, if you think about old school adverts and newspapers and on TV, you're basically posting your thing for free.
Yeah.
And you don't have to pay for it.
That's right.
And the algorithms are there to go, okay, Jenny's posted a picture, Joey's posted a picture, Nate's posted a picture. Which one's the more popular picture?
Yeah.
Jenny's picture is the more popular one. Yeah. So we're going to boost the shit out of this.
Exactly.
So now Jenny goes viral overnight.
Yes.
And starts to make money off this picture that she posted.
Yeah.
But initially it wasn't to post to make money. It was to post to because she's proud of this picture.
Yeah.
But then now she's sucked into the ball.
Yeah.
That is, well, now I want to post up more stuff to make more money.
So here's my question, essentially. Because of all the way that this world's been geared up with the digital world and stuff, right? The simple fact that Jenny needs to post it to feel good about it in the first place is the first mistake. That is the first hook. You know, everyone, all druggies, all drug dealers and stuff, they're like, first taste is free.
Yeah.
Because then you're hooked, right? That's the first taste. The fact that Jenny needs or wants to put it on a social media platform because she's proud of it and she wants other people to see it is problem number one.
Yeah. I mean, as much as we've talked about the negative side of it,
the positives are crazy. They're good positives. Yeah. There's great positives.
I think it's important to share the positives as well.
Yeah, you're right. We've just slammed.
We're just like, And we're on social media.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
But-
it's the only way we can get to you guys.
And I mean, the positive side of it is everything that we have just spoke about, you can do for good.
Yes. Absolutely.
So, for example, if you're wanting to share something as positive as trying to help some form of mental health issue, or something that you believe in that is going to help the world, and you can
faith or a religion or a belief, anything like that,
and it's positive in nature, those same algorithms can work to help to spread your message.
Absolutely. 100%. Yes.
This is why social media can also be viewed as so beautiful.
Yes. 100%. And this is why I still use social media, and you still use social media. Like, we are aware of the damages, we're aware of the bad side of it, and I suppose the best thing to say, we're active, not reactive with social media. So when I'm on social media, I know you probably do this as well. I wouldn't be surprised if you do this. So when you're looking at anything on social media, something comes up, we don't take it for face value. We look at it straight away, specifically news or any sort of trending stuff. We look at it straight away and we go, okay, I want to check up on that. I want a third opinion, a second opinion, a fourth opinion, a fifth opinion. I want to find it out elsewhere. I often find something on, say, for instance, Facebook or Instagram or something, and it looks news-ish, or it looks something attractive to me. I will go onto Google and research it elsewhere and see what Google brings up. And then, because that gives you a wider scope, like, for example, you may see, like, they did something with Pizzagate, and so Social Dilemma covers it. So to help with you guys understanding it, you can watch the movie and then you kind of get the idea.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it allows us to fact check and go, is this real? Is this something that we want to use? Is this something good? I do this automatically now. I'll jump onto Google straight after I use a social media platform, because I want to check. I want to keep myself clear. I want a diffusion between what they're trying to project and what's actually happening to me.
Yeah.
And that's good. That's a good thing, because it allows me to actually know what the truth is and project the truth in the social media, in my world, in my social media world.
I like that. I mean, I don't do that at all.
You should.
I'm
really should.
To be honest with you, I'm the complete opposite. I have got to the stage in my own life where I've removed Facebook and Instagram from my phone.
That's awesome.
Where it's anything is where I can travel. I don't read any new stuff on Facebook. And it came to a point just a couple of days ago that I had absolutely no idea that the US elections were on.
Really?
I didn't have a single clue.
That's awesome.
Because I'm off social media. I only use it for what I'm trying to do for my coaching and to keep in contact with friends all over the world.
Yeah.
And it shocked me for a second, because it's like, go back to when coronavirus started, and this full honesty, I got so hooked into the pain and the trauma that social media was creating. I went out and bought a machete because I watched too much Walking Dead, and I honestly thought the world was going to revolt, and I needed to protect myself.
Dude, yeah. And see, because you'd watched The Walking Dead and and by the way, all these things, they're all connected, right? So it, like, all the platforms knew you were watching Walking Dead and was like, oh, let's pump this end of the world stuff to you. Yeah, dude, I had the same thing as well. Like, when the whole Australia was in lockdown, was going to lockdown, and China was like circling around Australia, I was like, that's it. Tomorrow, when the war began's happening, like, you know what I mean? I went out and I was like, I gotta get some stuff to protect myself. I'm like, I'm gonna make some crossbows. I'm gonna get my blades out. Like, I was like, okay, I had a bug out plan. Like, I was like, because tomorrow when the war, I was like, oh my god, China is gonna invade.
Well, yeah, I think here in Perth was the first place in the world where the whole toilet roll thing started.
Oh my goodness, that is just perfect, right?
I live across the road from a supermarket, and I started to fear that once they started running out of stuff at the supermarket, who's the nearest people they're going to go to start looting?
People right across the road from the supermarket.
Exactly. So I bought a machete.
Yeah.
I wanted to buy a crossbow.
Yeah.
I looked into buying a gun.
Yeah. Same.
And
same.
After everything started to calm down, and I realized,
did you feel a bit sheepish?
I'm pretty sure I convinced one of my friends to buy a crossbow. and they bought a crossbow
Wow.
because I convinced them to.
Wow. Yeah. I'm in that same boat as well. I think I convinced a few people as well. Like, hey, tomorrow when the war began, like, go watch that movie. That shit's about to happen. Like,
I'm pretty sure that if I'd have gone further, I could have been the instigator of a riot.
Yeah.
Because of my own fear from reading social media.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was my main reason for going. I got it hanging in my gym at home. And I look at that, and it's a consistent reminder of why I don't need to be on social media.
I've got that too. Yeah, so the crossbow stuff that I bought, stuff. Yeah, they're sitting in my studio as well, and they're just a constant. As in that, there's the constant reminder for me is check it. Don't just believe it. But however, the positive.
The
good
positive.
Side of that, right. Let's take that whole scenario of them pumping bad stuff for us to get to the point where we're going berserko bolly and buying weapons to protect ourselves.
Yeah.
So in essence, that's what we did. Flip that and go, all right, that same platform, that same setup, that same thing. Now we can deliver a message across and get such a powerful response that actually creates a change. Same algorithm, same platforms, same everything. The only thing that changes is our message, our delivery, and the way that it is portrayed to other people. It's the only thing that changes. So ultimately, there's a beautiful saying that I got taught when I was younger. It's actually a biblical principle. It's life and death is in the power of the tongue.
Yeah.
And that nowadays in social media is more prevalent than ever. More prevalent than ever. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. The message you deliver will either kill or create.
Yeah. It's true.
Crikey Moses. I'm just having light bulb moments now. Wow. What do you guys think?
I think it's a good time to ask that question.
What do you guys think about all the topics together, what we've spoken about? If you want to know more, if you want us to talk about different things, if you've got some topic ideas, let us know. I get the feeling we're going to have a chat about Biden versus Trump. We might throw Kanye in there just for
Yeah, that could be an interesting conversation.
Who do you want, Trump or Biden, like as your topic?
Again,
you can choose. I'll let you choose.
I'm going to even flip the topic on its head of my complete abstinence from politics.
I love this, like a Puritan.
Yeah.
A Puritan's view, an innocence view.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay, and then I will. So that's the topic part you're bringing in. Okay, all right, and I'll bring in then for the next talk what the world has got to say. The two different camps and what the big. Here's the important thing. All right, so I'll bring in what I'll do for the next topic is I'll bring in obviously the two camps.
Yeah.
Right? But I'll bring in the good and the bad on each camp. And what I mean by the good and the bad, I don't mean actually what they're doing, as in Trump and Biden are actually doing, but what the world thinks they're doing. Like what social media is portraying, the good, and social media is portraying in the bad for Biden and for Trump. Let's see what's happening. Let's see what goes on. I mean, that could be a topic. That could be. I mean, when's the elections? I don't know.
Didn't the elections just happen?
Yeah, I think they're doing a count. I think they count. Did you hear? All right. That was stupid. So,
wasn't it Wednesday?
I think it was Wednesday, and they're still doing some counting. I don't know.
So the only reason I found out that it was happening was because when I got into a conversation with one of my clients, and he was like back and forth as we were training, looking at who's winning. Wow. I'm like, what are you doing? And he started talking to me about it. And the last thing I remember about politics was when Obama came into power. Yeah. And the only reason I know about it is because I was working in America at the time. Yeah. And it was kind of hard to avoid it when it was on every single TV in my workplace.
Yeah, it's a big deal. Yeah.
So we're not talking about it, obviously. But from what I understand, the only thing that's happening now is that the postal votes are being counted.
Yeah, pretty much.
So there should be a president-elect, but I have no idea.
I don't know, they're battling around. Actually, better yet, instead of bringing in the two different camps, the Biden versus Trump camp and stuff, the US election, the effect on us in Australia. What's the effect? that I'm happy to bring that forward. I'm like, because there's a lot of us out there like, yeah, Trump, yeah, Biden and stuff. But I do know personally, there's a whole bunch of us that's like, so what?
Yeah.
Like, who cares? We're Aussies.
I'm in that camp.
Yeah. Like, like, ooh, okay, that's great. Who cares?
Look, I could,
is that a wise thing?
Yeah.
Is that wise or is it not? Should we care? Should we not care? Oh, I can bring that in.
I could go into that. This could be a rabbit hole that I drive down for another 3 hours.
Yeah, true. Yeah, we have to end this. This is not
yeah.
This is not a feature film.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm just open to starting that as the main topic and just seeing where it goes.
Yeah, let's just see where it goes. Sure. Yeah, so let us know what you guys think.
Yeah.
Feel free to prep for it. But yeah, so I don't know. It's your studio. Would you care to sign off, or how do you want to do this?
So we literally, I think, came up with the name for this right before we went on air.
Yeah.
So we'll say goodbye from me, Joey, and
stay golden from me, Nate.
And you've been listening to the Twin Topics podcast.
Awesome.
See you later, guys. Have a blessed day.
You too. See you guys.